their all-world wide receiver. I know. Antonio Brown leading the NFL, Greg, with 1,509 yards. That's more than anybody had all of last season, and he still has 3 games to go. He also happens to lead the league with 99 catches, has scored 9 touchdowns, and helped Juju Smith-Schuster find his bicycle. Greg, no wide receiver has won league MVP. Can you make a case for AB this year? Could you see how people would want to or could?
Without a question, you can definitely make a case. Personally, and I'm going to get this out the way first.
Okay.
It's one of the most difficult positions to acquire this award because you're so dependent on great offensive line play, your quarterback play, your other receivers around you. It's so dependent. Having said that, nope, I'm going to say something else. And then when you watch the greatness of guys like a guy to my right, CeCe, Jerry Rice, Randy Moss, Calvin Johnson, the year he had in Detroit, and they haven't won it, it's hard to say, oh, yeah, AB is going to win this award. But he is definitely making a strong case. When you look at the Pittsburgh Steelers and why they're successful, it is because of his play, not only throughout the game, late in the game in clutch situations. He gets it done. What I love about Antonio Brown is he is a small guy that plays so big that does everything right. Route running, separation, catches the ball in his hands, in traffic. Well, he's not a big hand catcher all the time, but in traffic, he makes the big plays, and he does things on the field that a lot of guys want to do that he does effortlessly. And when I look at Antonio Brown, he is definitely changing the game for the Pittsburgh Steelers in their opportunity to be successful this year. So, yes, absolutely.
But, CeCe, let me ask you this. What makes a guy like Antonio Brown different from DeAndre Hopkins or a Julio Jones or Odell Beckham Jr.? How does he – explain to people how he stands out that much more from those other guys.
Well, DeAndre Hopkins is out of that class with OBJ, Julio, and AB. And it's really hard to make the comparison because he's so small. Now, being small, Greg said, but he plays big. He gets double teamed. He can play into the boundary. He can play to the field where they typically have the fast guys, the smaller guys. They can run bubble screens to him. You can run reverses to him. He returns punts. So his ability to affect the game in so many ways, you have to double team him, just like Julio Jones. You cannot play man-to-man. So it takes one guy off the defense. So he tilts the field in the offensive favor. The reason why I don't believe is because I've seen other receivers that had better years. Calvin Johnson had a better year. Randy Moss had a better year. Jerry Rice in 12 games. Like, stop. Like, just
20 to 19 touchdowns.
Yeah, just stop. Like, let's not even try.
Is it the touchdown?
Hold on. Here's why I don't like that argument. Because
probably because it's right, but go ahead.
Hold on. Just because we weren't fair to Randy, that 07 year with the Pats, Jerry a couple times, certainly the 12-game season, doesn't mean we can't start being fair now. Like the Calvin year, I'm not going to
agree.
Calvin, they were 4-12 that year. So like nobody on a 4-12 team is winning league MVP, no matter what no quarterback is, no matter what you do. I understand he set the league record for receiving yards. They were 4-12 that year. But I don't like that NFL MVP is simply a synonym for best quarterback of the year. The way to win it, if you're not a quarterback, is to have 2,000 yards as a running back, set the touchdowns record as a running back, or be named Lawrence Taylor. That's it. I guess Mark Mosley as well, a kicker who won it once absurdly. Like, it should not just be quarterback of the year. And if there's ever a year to buck the trend, I understand that there are receivers in the past as, if not more, deserving. I get that. But we can't affect votes in the past. We can affect this vote right now. And with Carson Wentz being injured, we'll see how Brady responds to this past week, Russell Wilson coming off his worst game of the year. Man, if they get the 1 seed, CC.
Okay.
Go ahead.
But the reason why you don't make a wide receiver, all right, the MVP, is because you can do this without him. Calvin Johnson did the same thing or even better. His team was 4-12. All right? Wide receivers is a position that is contingent upon other things: running game, offensive line, the quarterback play, the other wide receivers. It's contingent on so many things. So it's not the most valuable. Like New England last year, without their best receiver, Gronkowski, they won the Super Bowl. They say, well, he's a tight end. He is the #1 wide receiver on the team. You can play great football without a wide receiver having dominant.
Well, with that argument, what other position besides quarterback would you say would be deserving of what other position could be deserving?
Any defensive player that's going to have an amazing year. All right, you can't say position defensively. You can say anyone. That's either interceptions or sacks or tackles. You break the NFL record in tackles. Offensively, it is an offensive award that's made for the quarterback. So the only one going to win, either the quarterbacks or maybe a running back. That's it. But I'm fine with that. I'm okay with that.
I agree with you to a degree. And when it comes to receivers and they're not needed, and anyone can really do this. But with this Pittsburgh Steelers team, and we talk about MVP, most valuable player, if you take Antonio Brown away, they are nowhere near the same team. Offense, you look at last week.
If you take Ben away,
you're right.
If you take Le'Veon Bell away,
you're absolutely correct. I believe that they're a team that's built of these 3 core guys, and if you take any one of them away, they're not the same team. But with how consistent Antonio Brown has been, and he has done this year after year after year. I've played receiver, you've played receiver at high levels, Hall of Fame level, Super Bowl level. Antonio Brown has a case to where we can nod our head and say, yeah, Jerry Rice did some spectacular things. Randy Moss did. All these other guys did. But what he's doing is special. And to your point, we can change this play a little bit.
This is, besides, I know the receiver is dependent on a lot of things. If I get targeted 160 times,
no doubt about it.
You better have more than 9 touchdowns. Now, that's a standard that me and other wide receivers, if you target us that many times, we're going to score more than 9 touchdowns.
But so this year, I feel you. This year, the 9 touchdowns.
Well, what year are we voting on? 1963?
No.
Well, he's not done.
He's not done. And this year, if the touchdowns are low, but if he becomes the first receiver ever with 2,000 yards receiving, and they have the 1 seed, I think the case may be.
It's going to be based on the targets, though. That's a durability thing. And targets, like, that's what that is.
So can we just show the audience, and we're having a bigger picture Antonio Brown discussion, what he's done since he's become really Antonio Brown 2013, his NFL ranks and all these things. Now, CC, to be fair, he's also first in targets. Like, that's not on there, but I have it right here. He is also first in targets. You and I have talked to this off the air, Chris, and I want both your guys' opinions, the guys that played the position at a super high level, because he's just been better than everybody by a wide margin. I've never seen, you guys have been watching the game longer than me, I've never seen a guy do it at his height, ever. Like, I know I get a hard time from, like, Coach Mangini and stuff for saying this guy's the best ever, this guy's the best. I don't know what the comparison is for a guy even close to his level at 5'9.5", 5'10". Like, can I say Antonio Brown the best receiver under 6 feet that I've ever seen? Like,
well, definitely he's the best one that you've ever seen. But it's hard to go, and just like in any other sport, it's hard to go from era to era. And you're not going to be able to get a receiver, say a Henry Ellard, say a Fred Biletnikoff, say a Steve Largent, someone who had those type of targets. He's a dynamic player. He's one of the most dynamic, and he's definitely one of the best players ever in NFL history under 6 foot. But I'm not going to say, I can't say that right now. All right? And the only thing that I would say in those 5 seasons, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, he only got 52 touchdowns and #1 targets.
CC is a touchdown snob, man.
Is there a more significant play in the NFL than scoring a touchdown?
No, there is not.
Nick, I don't do the numbers, All right? Is there a more significant play than putting the ball in the end zone?
CC, at 1,600 targets, where would you like his touchdowns to be?
1,600 targets. He should have at least 14 to 15 touchdowns and should be getting close to 20 as we get.
And he's at 9 right now?
He's at 9 touchdowns on 100.
I can agree with that. What I won't agree with
Jenna,
is
one season I caught 11 touchdowns on 41 catches.
Right. And then you got, I think they gave you a nickname because of that one.
I'm one of this. I'm going to appreciate him in this moment, in this era. And right now, he is the best. I'm not going to put a height stipulation on it. He is the best receiver in the game. He is the best receiver that if we want to put a height stipulation on it, that I've seen under 6 foot ever play the game. Bottom line, what he's able to do, touchdowns or no touchdowns, he makes it happen.
All I'm saying is Chris Carter put an extra importance on catching touchdowns like Nick Wright put an extra importance on having a big nose. You might be a little biased in the discussion, my man.
Greg,
130 touchdowns.
Greg, you already missed our best conversation today between if LeBron and Beyonce had a baby, what that baby would be like. So now we're going.
My Hall of Fame numbers because there's a lot of mofos with big noses. Let's go, please.
Coming up, Greg, don't go anywhere. Did Rob Gronkowski cost the Patriots?
How many people you know with 130 touchdowns?